If you're a huge Nintendo fan like me, then you're probably following at least one or two Nintendo news sites. Maybe My Nintendo News, Go Nintendo, anything like that. And if you've been paying attention recently within the last month or two, you've probably seen scary headlines such as this one saying Nintendo stocks are plummeting and all that stuff. Obviously that doesn't sound good, but how bad could it really be? Stocks are a confusing market, and it's got me asking, what does this actually mean for fans like us? So that's pretty much what I'm going to be explaining today. What does Nintendo stocks plummeting actually mean just for Nintendo fans? What's up guys, it's Thomas from the Switch Shop, and let's dive into Nintendo's stocks recently to see why they're falling and what this means for us fans in particular. Well, if you look at the last month, you can see Friday, June 8th, Monday, June 11th, Tuesday, June 12th. The stocks are all pretty high, between the 40 to 42,000 range, probably at like 41,500. And this is all in yen because this is obviously a Japanese company. Nintendo's obviously Japanese, so this is all happening in the Tokyo Stock Exchange. So we're just going to say like 42,000, but it's 42,000 yen if anyone's looking for the conversion. Anyway, yeah, that's where Nintendo stock is. But then June 12th, that's E3. So the day after E3, it starts plummeting. All the way 2 days after, Thursday, June 14th, it plummets all the way down to 37,130 yen. And it's been falling ever since, with July 3rd to July 4th being a huge drop, with 2,000 yen being lost in that one day. So yeah, if you look at this 1 month graph, it can look pretty concerning. I mean, this is Nintendo we're talking about. We care about Nintendo a ton, and seeing that their business is decreasing in value is obviously not a good thing. However, it's not nearly as bad as everyone thinks. Because stocks are an ever-changing market, you have to know this. And while it is easy for something stock related to really impact a business, Nintendo's stock is at such a high right now due to the Switch that Nintendo's stock falling, while it obviously does suck, it's not going to change anything. You see this 1 month graph and it looks very, very bad. Like, it's fallen all the way down. I've seen this put in countless thumbnails. I'll probably put it in this thumbnail because it does convey what is happening right now. The stocks are falling. But it is a little bit misleading because if you look at the 5-year graph so you get more context on what's even happening, this is Nintendo for all of 2013, 14, 15, and a lot of 16. It was always below the 25,000 yen mark. At least until July 15th, where, I don't know, it must have been an investors meeting or something, where Nintendo stock literally went up over 10,000 yen in a day. Probably like showed off the Switch to some private companies or something, I don't know. But then yeah, you can see ever since the Switch, Nintendo stock has been rising. But even with Nintendo stock rising since the Switch, there have still been dips and little curves at different places. Like you can see at the end of the year, from December 29th, it dipped, and right now it's just dipping again. But Nintendo was fine throughout all of this in the Wii U era where stocks were so low. And now that stocks are like way higher, unfortunately, yeah, it is dipping a bit, but that's not gonna be terrible. Like, it's not gonna ruin Nintendo or anything. This is not like a reason to be concerned about Nintendo closing down or anything like that. I mean, like, I've seen YouTubers go like, Nintendo's going out of business. And like, no, while it sucks that it is falling, in context, it's not that much. We also gotta take into account Nintendo's release lineup for this year. It's no secret that we're in a bit of a lull in terms of Nintendo games. We just had E3, but nothing big from E3 is coming out until at least October, because that's when Super Mario Party comes out. Then November we got Pokemon, then December obviously a little game called Smash Bros. So that is obviously going to be huge, but for now we don't really have much. I mean, we have a Captain Toad port coming up soon. We had a Mario Tennis game, which looks pretty good, but I mean, it's a Mario Tennis game. That's not going to drive stocks. So yeah, we are in a bit of a lull right now. I'm sure Nintendo's working on brand new things, and they obviously know that their stocks are falling. So this will also push them to make even better video games, push out even more content. Overall, what I'm trying to say, stocks are a part of any business, and stocks change very frequently. In an industry such as the electronics industry, the one Nintendo's in, where that industry is constantly changing. Like, how much has the electronics industry evolved in the past 30 years? Ever since the NES, we've gone all the way up to the Nintendo Switch, where we're playing these console games on the go. And then you got other companies like Sony and Microsoft pushing the limits of what's even like seeable by the human eye with like 4K graphics. Like it's crazy. And stocks are an ever-changing landscape too. So with two ever-changing landscapes, you're obviously going to have dips and curves here and there. But when you look at it in context, this dip isn't even really that bad. Nintendo was all the way at 12,000 yen 5 years ago. They've gotten all the way up to 48,600 yen since earlier this year. And now we've fallen down a little bit to 36,000 yen, but I'm sure it'll go back up. It's all constantly changing, and there's no real reason to be scared about any of this. So all in all, this doesn't really mean much for Nintendo fans. I just wanted to clear it up because I saw people going like, oh, this is terrible, Nintendo's stocks are falling. And yeah, it does kind of suck, but unless you actually hold stock in the company, this probably won't even affect you, and if the stock wasn't even public, then you probably wouldn't even notice. With that out of the way, thank you guys for watching. I'm Thomas from the Switch Shop, signing off. Peace.